Hi, this is Kate Northrup, author of Money, A Love Story, Untangle Your Financial Woes and Create the Life You Really Want. And as part of the launch of this book, I'm interviewing some of my friends and the people I love about their money love story, because money is such a taboo topic and I want to bring this conversation more to the light. So I'm here with Meggan Watterson, who's a spiritual mentor. She's the best-selling author of Reveal, a sacred manual for getting spiritually naked, and also the founder of the Reveal Conference, and just one of my BFFs. So I want to know, Meg.
Yes.
For you, with your money journey, what were you taught? What did you witness? What did you absorb around when it came to money as a child when you were growing up? Was there anything that you remember from that?
Yeah, I think there were a couple that really had an impact on me. I'm somebody who had a lot of sort of first traditional schooling in religion and spirituality. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of the spiritual leaders and gurus and saints and mystics really sort of had a strong division between themselves and their work and money. Mm-hmm. They were either supported from an institution like a church or a religious organization, or, you know, they just had renounced the material world altogether. So, and they allowed for whatever was present in their life to be enough. And then the other force, I would say, was more personal, which had to do with, you know, my mom divorced when I was around 8, and my dad, I think to compensate for the time when we weren't together, mm-hmm. when I would see him, would kind of shower us with material goods. Uh-huh. And because I'm the, you know, sensitive soul that I am, it kind of, you know, overwhelmed me in the form of, like, you know, I would cry or throw up every Christmas and, you know, get really, really upset because, you know, that I knew on an intuitive level was sort of a replacement or displacement of his love and time, and, you know, although well-meaning,
of course,
in a way it created a sense of me wanting to push away, you know, the material. And so from those two forces, I sort of created a sense of, you know, separation between me and the material world. Finances.
And then you went on to divinity school.
Yes.
And went on to get a degree in theology.
Right.
So you went even deeper, sort of.
Oh, yeah. It was
so, like, I'll be in academia over here.
Right.
Not that there's, I mean, it's very impressive what you've done. But I would love to know, you know, even just in the past couple of years, you've gone so deep into the spiritual realm, the realm of, I mean, oh my gosh, it's amazing. You should just read her book because it will dive you deep with you. But and a lot of things that are not about material, like, it's really, your work is not really about material goods. So how do you reconcile those two things, being a spiritual mentor, being very much about spirit and, you know, the sacred? How do you reconcile that with the fact that you're a mom and, like, right. you know, you gotta, like, put the food on the table,
right, right, absolutely,
and buy shoes and, you know, whatever absolutely. You gotta do
and be in this world.
Yeah. What do you do?
Well, I think, you know, I went to an extreme before my son was born, where I was, you know, I was in university at Harvard studying, which is basically like being in, you know, a convent. And then I was literally in a convent when I was at Columbia.
You lived at a convent?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Up at Union Theological Seminary. I was in what used to be Riverside Cathedral's convent. So, so I really was sort of an urban nun. And, you know, at that time, I think I really touched to the reality that you bring up in the book so much, which is that abundance comes from a place inside of us, and it's a state of mind versus something that we can acquire from outside of us.
Yeah.
So I tasted that very deeply, and in a way that's so grounded and so a part of me now that I can access that whenever I need to. But I also really got to an insular place of, still not having bridged that place between, that divide that I had created with, in terms of the material world and wealth and everything. And really it was the birth of my son and becoming an indie mom and really needing to support myself and my son doing the soul work in the world that I needed to do. Yeah. And that's what really pushed me to be able to see that what I am, who I am, what I have to offer has a unique worth in the world. And that worth is really being devalued by me not, asking the world to support me to be who I am. Yeah. And that was a really, really profound shift. And it came from that gorgeous stress, of being a single indie mom. And that was really so it's my son who really helped me bridge that divide. And, I would say too, it's also looking really honestly and concretely about, what it is to be here in the world and to find that mix of like, what does it mean to be spiritual? Are we less spiritual because, I'm in love with like these red stiletto cuff shoes that, I have to earn money in order to acquire, and, I still have a bit of the urban nun in me. Like everything is I don't have a lot of things, but what I have is just, like these amazing things that I adore.
Well curated.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, for me, that's kind of finding that that bridge between both, where I'm embracing the material and, but finding my right relation to it.
And I know that you do a lot of prayer, you do a lot of meditation, and I'd love to know how, in times of stress around work and money, what do you do? Like, who do you, or I know who you call upon, but, but I mean, I guess I would say how do you call, and where do you go? What do you do at those times? Because you have this really solid foundation in spirit, and oftentimes we think that money is separate from that, and so in times of financial stress, it's like, oh, I got to go to the financial planner, or I go to like get a job, or whatever. So what do you do, or what do you recommend people do?
Right. Well, what I practice is something that I've cultivated over the years. It's called a soul voice meditation, and I go within around anything, with it, and it can happen anywhere, at any time, while doing anything, and it's simply about going within and connecting to that place inside where I feel like I'm hearing and receiving and directly connected to my, what I would call soul, but you can call it, whatever you want. Yeah. It's just a sense of being divinely aligned with what's highest inside of us. And so, very, very pragmatic and recent example is that I've been looking for an apartment that I can afford as a single mom in this greater New York City area, which has been, very interesting. And there were a lot of times where I would start getting really stressed out because I also had my son full time. He's out of daycare. It's like summer break. Yeah. So there were times where I would get stressed and overwhelmed and this feeling of like, I'm going to move to Maine, or,
I did tell her she should do that, but I'm glad for your well-being that you have found a spot here.
So, I would feel it, just the tension. I would feel something, a stress in my body. I would feel something. And so I would use the soul voice meditation and go in, and sure enough, there would be some, belief or some thought I was having, about the situation that was creating all of this, sort of stress and this feeling of like, oh my God, it's not going to work out. There was some internal monologue that was really tying me up in knots. And so I used it several times whenever I just started getting stressed out and started feeling like, I'm not going to find a place, or I don't have enough money, or, oh, I wish I had the kind of money to just buy whatever I want, when any of those things would come up, I would just go within, and that what it would do is help me release all of those ideas. And choice, very carefully select, the lines that I want running inside of me.
Yeah.
Like, I trust that right now the perfect place that's in highest alignment for me is going to come, but in divine timing.
Yeah.
So not exactly
Right.
when I want it or exactly where I want it. 'Cause
Yeah.
sometimes we don't know where it's highest, you know?
Exactly.
And so just a help, to go within and surrender. Just really surrender.
Exactly.
And
surrender. That's so
and
beautiful.
that's what has got me through this time. And I don't think I was just saying to myself on the subway over, I don't think there's ever a time when we get to this place where we never get overwhelmed by money or never get overwhelmed by
anything.
Yeah, our relationship to the material world.
Yeah.
I think it's constantly this dance, but I think what we get better at is being aware of when we are completely, playing twister with the whole, relationship, and really with more ease and grace, just pulling ourselves out of it and being like, oh yeah,
Right, and remembering who you are.
Remembering.
And remembering your divine worth, which is something that you wrote about in Reveal, and I really appreciate that conversation because it's the conversation that's in my book as well, but I just like the way you talk about it, basically. It's a really profound knowing of I am a divine being, I'm of God, or whatever you want to say. And because we exist, we're therefore absolutely, priceless. And we have that inherent divine worth. And I love what you said about knowing that if that is true, it would be a disservice to the world if you were not asking for and receiving divine compensation in exchange for your gifts.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And bringing what you bring to the planet, which is really unique, actually.
Exactly.
I mean, everybody's is, but I know you I know you quite well. And you're super special.
Thank you, lady.
Yeah, you're welcome. Is there so tell me what's the for you, you just moved and you're kind of working stuff out with your business and all kinds of things. What's the next frontier for you? What's the growth edge when it comes to money right now? Because we're never going to have arrived, like you said.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, first I was going to say that in terms of that divine worth, which plays into this, is that, there's that resting in the knowing that I never have to prove my worth. Right? So my work and whatever unfolds, that's not a reflection of how worthy I am in this world. That worth is inherent. So I can just peel off all of that, stress and,
Just relaxing.
Yeah. And just and just, that's not something I ever have to prove. And I think
that's true for you too, by the way.
It can be something that a lot of people superimpose on their work and if I don't earn a certain amount, well, then that means I'm less worthy in the world, or my work is, worth less. And for me, I know and remind myself that that's not true. But I think for me, the biggest clarity, the most incredible, growth I've had through this whole process, and especially reading Money, your book, Money, a Love Story, but then really feeling like I've been initiated onto my own love story in relation to money, which has not ended. It's like it's just really beginning. And I think its ending is really going to be in relation to me finding that right home. A home where, I found something for now, and it's going to work really well.
Yeah.
I've got my own little writing den. But
so great.
It's, I do want to be somewhere where I can have more of a sense of ease when it comes to the amount I want to work and the amount that I want to feel in abundance in terms of, material gain. And so,
Beautiful.
and, with having a son but the clarity that I got over this, whole process is about how much I am a writer and want to write and make that time to write, which means creating a lot of, delegating a lot of other things and being supported in ways that I don't think I've asked for before, and now realize that I'm going to have to, so that I can, I think everything's going to come from that and creating that space. And I have my little writing done now, so awesome. I think that's the next.
That's the next for you.
Yeah.
I love that. And so shall it be. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your money love story, the beginning of it. And you definitely want to grab Reveal and go over to MegganWatterson.com to find out more. And when you get a copy of this book, Money, a Love Story, over at MoneyALoveStory.com, you'll get access free of charge to a course I'm teaching called A Course in Having Enough. And I'm co-teaching that with Marianne Williamson and Barbara Stanny and Amanda Steinberg, founder of dailyworth.com. So you get that for free when you get the book. And there are other money love stories there, including Meg's. And thank you so much for coming.
Absolutely.
I so appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you. I want to kiss your book.